When I first started doing these here videos, I personally don't think I've ever wanted to talk about a lol account in my life. And chances are that's how most of my feelings feel about these here users. But honestly, I think I shouldn't be really surprised given the fact that, I've been doing this for about around 7 months now. So let's get started. In case you guys don't know, I've wanted to talk about say Magenta. Well, I say I've wanted to, but honestly, it's one of those users that I could not overlook anymore. So let's provide some context. For those of you who don't know, Zaid Magenta was known as Misanthropony, and one of those users that I happen to have a hit or miss guidance with him. No, not personally. I mean, I don't know what he like in person, but what I can tell you is that he has these things that go around with opinions. And I'm saying this as in somebody who doesn't really watch a lot of his content. Now, I myself don't really have a problem with people having opinions. However, this is the second reviewer I have to go through that has been doing this for a while, though. I probably will get into Troll band together 2001 one of these days, but I'm not really sure when, though. Mostly because my schedule's been fucking up, and in October I have other plans to do with the channel, even when my birthday comes. So, yeah, I'll try my best to do whatever I can on those days. That said, however, say Magenta, I don't really know where to begin with this. First off, before you say anything, I know it's been what, like approximately a year since this shit's been going downhill south pretty quickly. Yeah, I'm not really gonna lie. This is one user that I'm trying to keep my distance away though. But after what's happened recently, I think it's about time I'll just leave those links in the description if you haven't seen them already. So you're probably wondering what's going on now. Well, before we get into that, let's dive a little deeper. If anything, though, this could give you a little better context of what the guy's like, though. Now, Zaid Magenta or Misanthropony, depending on how you ask, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just gonna call him Zaid because honestly, that's really the best way to describe it. It was a very well-known user who would mostly talk about some certain stuff on his channel. Those being My Little Pony on occasion. Sometimes he'll critique things that other users have done, like the Nostalgia Critic, and so on and so forth. Now, lately, I don't have a problem with critics anytime sooner or later, as long as they actually don't take it too much out of context. But Zaid Magenta's opinions on a lot of stuff happen to be one of those cases. You know what I mean? Where the time being because you have an opinion, that means that everyone can have their opinion, right? Well, it's basically a two-face with this guy. Mostly because every time I try my best to find videos that was about him, though, at least for a bit, he would go so far as to say things like, "Oh, you like this thing?" or anything like that. Should be not gonna say how graphic it was, but I will say that he did not take it kindly for his last bit of words. And to be honest, Zaid Magenta is like that a lot of the times, though. It's not that the opinions really reflect on how much it affects the person, but it really does bring the question of if you really don't like it when people have different opinions, why are you saying to respect their opinions and then go after the people as such? Yeah, I don't like saying this as in somebody who went so far as to like these your reviewers, but honestly, I haven't been watching a lot of reviewers lately, mostly because some of them either took a break, a hiatus, or somewhat. Some of them went downhill, or I'm just not into watching a lot of critics as of lately. But the reason why I bring Zaid Magenta up is because, well, to give you a better understanding what this guy's like, we need to go back in time for a bit. You know how back then he did his Star Wars marathon about The Last Jedi. Now, I myself am not a Star Wars fan. I'm more of a Star Trek fan. Yeah, you can go ahead and shoot me in the throat if you want to. But honestly, though, the reason why I'm not a fan of Star Wars, in my experience, I just couldn't get into it. I couldn't get into the stories. I couldn't into the characters. I couldn't get into literally anything about it. But I do respect the legacy it has. And to be clear, though, George Lucas has a lot going for it on well though. And honestly though, whether you like Star Wars or not, that's not really what this video is about. I'm just saying this because honestly Zaid, being the opinionated guy he is, happens to go so far as to say how he feels about it, and anyone who disagrees with him should do the following though. Well, let's get this out of the way. First of all, what's your problem with people liking Star Wars, Zaid? I don't know if it's just me, but while I don't like Star Wars myself, I never went so far as to say they should be, get this, shot up by gangs, which were his final words, not mine. And honestly, what really sinks this even lower to the bottom of the sea is that it really goes so far as to say that the guy just has an act to do this saying that, hey, you may like Star Wars or some shit, and then you just have to go ahead and do those. In opinionated though, guys, has this ever been something that you would say to somebody? Like, I will admit, I did watch some of Zaid Magenta's videos back then. The cuties video is what got me into invested in his channel somehow. Yeah, somehow the cuties video is what got me invested in it. And I will say though, he was right on that. That movie should not have existed to begin with. And I do have the Google Doc in my own phone, if anything, to watch on occasion, but I haven't really watched it since then. And it's been approximately a year. I haven't watched it since after that. And the reason why I don't watch his videos is not because of his anger tone, it's not because of all the drama bullshit that went around him. It's because of how much he went so far as to say some of these. Well, I say threats, but some of them may not be threats, but some of them are, and it's pretty disturbing. Like, more disturbing than one may think, though. I mean, movie and cartoon fan and that master, they themselves actually did have videos about what's going on, though. Like, they're somehow being stalked by Zaid, despite the fact that his whole platform himself deleted, and that also bothers me. Like, Zaid, who am I kidding? You don't even know who I am, even if I did comment on your video twice from that Kitty's video about how bad it was. You do realize that going into people's servers or privacy is dangerous. Not only that, it's pretty much a sign of being some who are scared. And this is coming from someone who has never had anything to do with anyone's privacy, though. Like, really? Like, you mean to tell me this is how you're gonna do it? One thing's for sure, though, guys. I have no idea what the hell this guy's problem is. Like, I mean, yeah, his hate base is really something that should be judged by, but trust me, we'll get to that. But it's also pretty clear to me that I don't know what he's trying to motivate here, though. Now, I could play audio about how to the videos though, but honestly, I don't feel like doing it. And what's more, I wanted to play a game to put my commentary on top of it because that's how it was. But considering that my laptop is jacking shit all the time, though, yeah, I'm not doing that. This is just me doing it like Star Giant Productions again, doing the video that no one wanted to have, and yet we still have it as such, though. Some people tell me that Zaid is not as bad as he was back then or something like that, but I'm not taking any words. I'm not. Mostly because he's getting too dangerous and saying things like I said earlier, he wants people to be shot up by gangs. Dude, I don't know what you've been drinking, but I hope that those drinks were so worth it after saying that to scare them. And you probably know him more specifically on not just on the on the Star Wars movies, but also the Cartoon She incident, which may remind you, Cartoon She was only a minor, around his teens at the time. Like, seriously, you made him that paranoid to begin with and gave him social anxiety because of that. Now, I would say that would scare me too, but let's be honest though. I may not be a huge fan of Cartoon She, but after watching that video in preparation for this video, I've done sometimes, that notwithstanding, I still don't understand. What's your problem with people not liking something you don't like? And what's more, you went after someone who was a kid at the time. Now, granted, though cartoon she is an adult now, but still, you get what I mean. And it really borderlines into saying that you're only making yourself look like, "Hey, I'm the better, bigger person, and I'm more mature than you do because I'm an adult." Well, someone who's in his 30s that said he's an adult doesn't do a fucking good job at it. Like, I'm in my 20s. I'm not the most mature person out there. Let's get that out. I'm all pissy at times though, but I don't go so far as to do that on other people. I usually try to do it sometimes by myself and everything because if I do, it's gonna affect someone's health and everything. Like not like say physical health. I meant like mental health. You should already know this, guys. But it's also pretty sad to me that cartoon. She didn't even deserve this, nor did anyone in part of this hate them. If anything, no, need to do so already. Though, let's get this out of the way first. First off, for those who are wondering, he did have a huge hate them, though. But thankfully, he doesn't plan on doing it. Wait a minute. Now that I think about it, didn't he say something about he wants to get as much people as he can on his list and make the hate them get documentary? What? Are you fucking serious? Okay, let's get this out of the way. First, I'm no expert on how all of the world works, but even I will admit there are some people out there who will not like you. I mean, hell, I have someone currently who still goes after me, even though he didn't do dick all about the guy. Yeah, still looking at you, lizard. But it's pretty obvious that he's not doing that for something else though. With Zaid, however, it's more like saying, "Hey, you may be part of my list, but even if you don't know who I am, or if you know me, or whatever, I'm still gonna put you on the list because you were talking shit at me." First of all, what did they ever do to you? Maybe it was the fact they may have said something that they may have not said before, though. I don't know because I don't know what was going on. But what I do know is that this is just immature. Like you're making you want to make a hate them documentary? Hate to break it to you, asshole, but you already deleted your channel. So what are you gonna do? Is create a second spare one? Wait a minute. But yeah, that's really what I have to gather here, though. Now I realize that some people are gonna say a hate them is something that you don't want, and trust me, you don't want a hate them. No one wants a hate them. Nobody wants to be hated. But chances are, some people out there don't know where are not gonna like your content. I I mean, I'm not the one that's gonna say that I was a huge fan of his content. Trust me, there were some things I did not like. For example, gee, I don't know, the night nostalgia critics video. Okay, one of them anyway. One of them was one that was about Sailor Moon, and I will admit, while I'm not a huge fan of Doug anymore, Zayd had a lot of ways of criticizing him for not getting Sailor Moon. And as someone who's a fan of Sailor Moon, I can definitely tell you that was not a good video from NC. That doesn't mean that I can't talk about the other thing that he did. You know how Doug had talked about how his mother did, and a lot other people said thinking that he was doing it for sympathy baiting. Well, Zaid, you became a hypocrite because for some fucked up shit reason, you decided to do it the same with your dad before you deleted your entire channel. Look, this was during the time before my pop passed on. And even before that, I was still going through a lot at the time. But do you see me or any one of those videos that I do that do my videos for sympathy baiting? Now, when I did that disappointment video, someone did say I was only doing it for sympathy, but no, I was still disappointed in that. Trust me, I have a hard time figuring out if I want to list that video or not because of how much a lot of people kept going on to me about that. Back to what I was saying before, though. Yeah, Zaid, you're a fucking hypocritical dick. You really mean that to me, of all things, that you would rather have someone get sympathy baited for someone's mother that passed on. Now, granted, I haven't seen Doug's video on that, but that's what I've heard, though. Though, from what I can tell, though, it's probably one of the better videos I've seen. Not a sympathy baiting video, but Zaid, you did the same thing for your dad, though, and you just took that word back and threw it to the ground. You literally shit on his grave just for that, though? Okay, I wouldn't say literally, but you get what I mean, guys. But it's pretty clear to me that the guy himself just doesn't know what the fuck he's even doing like that, though. So my question is, if someone is sympathy baiting, why the fuck are you doing the same thing too? Like, let's get this out of the way first. Don't ever. I can't believe I'm saying this from one of my former idols, but he has a legitimate point. Don't ever use the dead. Like, never use the dead as an excuse for your actions. Never use the dead for your behavior, so on and so forth. Because your actions are controlled by you. You're the one in control of your own emotions. No one asked you to be their puppet. No one asked you to be their robotic toy or doll or whatever. You did this on your own automatically. And if anyone is anyone to blame, it's on you. I don't know why they decided to do this, other than the fact that he just wanted to say, "Oh, I feel sorry," or something like that. I'll leave a link in the description if you want to see the Queen Serafina and that creepy reading talking about it on on the commentary. But while I admit it's not really anything I would watch right now, though, it still bothers me this had to happen. And considering that I've seen a lot of shit in my life, that's saying a lot. But before we get any further, though, I need to discuss something with you guys. Now, I realize that some people are gonna think that this video is kind of pointless, and honestly, it's pretty ham fisted at times. Though, when it comes to the point, I was just doing this because I couldn't further or proof that I could look at anymore. But after watching movie and cartoon fans video as well as Dan Master, yeah, I probably butchered the name, so I do apologize for that. I'm not good with my so beware of that. But one thing's for sure though, I need to address this right here and now. If you really have something to say though, say it. We're all waiting for you and just say it right now. Like that creepy reading would say before me. But that doesn't take the layer off the cake about how much Zaid went back on his word and did this to that master and stalked the poor guy. What did he ever do to you? I'll admit, I haven't seen all of Dan Master's videos. I think the only ones I may have seen were the one where he's talking about Star Giant Productions going back on her word. But other than that, there was not much I can say on him other than he sounded like a decent guy. Now I should probably keep my mouth shut about that because let's be honest, every time I say that, I always jinx myself. But I don't want to hold my breath too long underwater, though. What I'm trying to say here, guys, is that it seems like Zaid just doesn't seem to learn. He goes to square one, thinks he would go back to square two, and he'll go back to the same level again. It's like playing a video game. You think you're going to go on to the next level, but you're not because of how difficult it is. But unless you want to get to the next level, you have to keep fucking trying. This is normally the part where I would say that this would be the end of that, but we're not done yet. After all that, however, I have this to ask. Why? Like, I'm not really a huge fan of Seti. Let's get this out of the way. I was never intending to do a random video out of nowhere, though. The only reason why I'm doing this video is because I just could not overlook this anymore. And if you've seen my community post, those who have seen it already know I pushed it this far. And you might be wondering, why did I push it this far? Why did I push it this far to the point of a breaking point? Well, it's because I don't think I've ever seen myself go through enough hell already to go through with it as is, though. I would say that this would be the part where I would tell you how I feel about this whole thing, but after realizing how much fucked up shit I've seen so far, not just with Zaid, but with anyone I've seen this far in general, it's pretty clear to me that this here really does bother me all to itself, though. And when it comes right down to it, I have no idea what the hell they're trying to say here, though. Ignoring the fact that so many people on the internet just want to get their anger out of the way, that's really something else, though. And let's get this out of the way as well, though. I myself don't really like to do these angry videos. Well, sort of, but you get what I mean. I don't do angry videos that much anymore because, let's be honest, I don't like showing my temper in front of people. It hurts me. It makes me feel like I'm spreading my anger around other people. You may have noticed that I don't have those videos anymore if you've seen those earlier videos when I was still starting out. But I'm just saying, what the fuck did any of those accomplish? Practically nothing. And to be fair, though, Zaid Magenta's anger, like up there with Loud Convoy, I would never get anywhere near. I mean, seriously, though, it felt like he was sticking a knife up my back or something like that. That's how much it hurts. But one thing's for sure, though, a lot of people have already probably said their piece on Zaid Magenta. You could say that, but as somebody who doesn't want anything to do with Zaid Magenta, I have a feeling he's going to look at this video thinking, oh, I'm only shit talking him because I can't stand him. No, I'm not shit talking him about what kind of person he was, though. I mean, let's get this over with, though. I'm just gonna say this right here and now. Just because, Zaid, I'm talking to you, just because someone says they don't like your videos or says they don't really understand where you're coming from or something like that does not automatically mean you have to go through the process of threatening other people, though. Now, granted, some of those uh, things that he said were not threats, legitimately or not, but it's pretty clear to me that saying they want to be shot up by gangs or into someone's server just because they're trying to private themselves, though, like, what were you doing in their server to begin with? I mean, it's one thing that you want and to make it look like, hey, I'm only seeing if I can find more people to put on my Hate Them documentary. And again, you don't even have your channel out anymore. You deleted it about a year ago. This should probably speak volumes on how much you really are desperate to make that Hate Them documentary. And I hate to go with what Lido said before me, but you don't earn one at this point. You really don't. And there are people who will dislike you. So I don't know what to say about that. I think what I'm trying to say here is that, like Lizzie Bedham had before me, though, the only way to get your audience to who appreciates you and accepts you for who you are is if you behave yourself. Like, if you don't behave yourself or anything like that on the internet, chances are it's going to come and bite you right in the ass. And karma can be a bitch at times, though. I'm not going to be one of those people who is going to say that Zaid Magenta deserves it. I mean, hell, I would never say anything for that matter. I would not say to people, hey, you did to hate them for yourself, so you deserve it. That does scream volumes on what something's like on apparently though. But even with that said, however, I don't know what to say about it other than you really can't speak volumes of that though. Because this is the internet. Of course, people are going to judge you for who you are as a person. Of course, there are going to be people out there who think of what you are like at times, though. But I'm not saying this as in somebody who doesn't like that, though. But I am saying this for my own sake. This, anyways, though. This comes to me that around YouTube, not everywhere, but still. Well, I just feel like that's really something that I can't kind of press feed on that, though. And to be fair, though, that's what I think of it overall, though. So it's really come to the point where it's really bothering me though. Like you can tell me all you want in the comments that some people are just gonna do this because they don't know what else to do with their lives. But here's the thing: the internet is our way to actually get away from reality. I will admit that. But in reality, this is not how you should treat your audience by talking down to them or talking to the audience like say, "Oh, I hope you get shut up by gangs" or something like that. Like, are you freaking serious? Really? Because I don't know what else to say about that. This bothers me to no end. Like, more than usual, though. I don't want to say this as in somebody who wants to see him go down the wrong path more and more, but the more I look into his own self, though, the more I establish that it's really better off if you just stop doing that, though. Trust me when I say this, though, guys. I'm not saying this to get a beef with him. I'm not. I'm saying this as in somebody who hates it when others get hurt for no reason other than, hey, I'm going to hurt you because you're a little weakling. Seriously, the little piggy itself is probably, hey, winking with laughter at this point, squealing with laughter, if anything, to judge by, though. When it comes right down to it, though, I don't even know what this guy's problem is other than the hate base or anything like that. And again, I don't know why you think having a hate base is something that you should already have for yourself, though. It's one thing that you respect other opinions if you could say that about anything, but then you go ahead right behind people's backs, including herself, and just do this without any sort of attention. No, like, are you really telling me you want to get your side out just like that, just by making it look like, hey, I might as well move that for myself, though? Maybe it's just me, and I know it's probably just me when I say this, but what's the point of doing a hate-based documentary anyways, though? Like, I will admit some people do no not like me. I don't really care if they don't like me, even though I want to do a video on the subject matter, but I decided against it because it's just going to add more her dick onto the fire pit anyway, though. And I'm not saying this as an insult, guys. I'm saying this as in someone who went through hell from childhood to teenage years to freaking adulthood, and I'm still not done with it, though. I'm not saying this for sympathy. I'm saying this as in someone who knows what's it like. I mean, getting my shit together is not easy. Hell, it sucks ass when you realize how much pain it has to be, though, at times, though. Now, I could say to you guys to go ahead and just ignore it, though, but if you have Discord or anything for that matter, though, well, for those who use Discord, I'm just going to say this right here and now. Don't bother engaging with the guy. So if you ever see his name or anything like that or whatever have you, I have this to say: block him. Like, don't engage with him, don't talk to him, don't even get in contact with him. If dealing with Zaid Magenta is not worth your time, just block him every chance you get if you use Discord. Though I don't use Discord anymore to the reasons I already said in my previous videos, but the chances are I already know that's going to be hard to do so in the process. And what I'm trying to say here is that, yeah, it sucks when you realize how much this had to go through, though. Like, I understand the internet. There's going to be a lot of people who will dislike your videos or your content or you as a person or anything like that. That's fair gig. But what's not fair gig is how much this person really wants to get his side, may remind you, his side, in order to look like he's trying to do something that's worth it, though. Like, as unhinged as Zaid Magenta can be at times, though, I wouldn't get anywhere near him, though. Seriously, it's really coming back to bite someone in the ass after that, though. Like, you can bully him, you say. Well, guess what? Bullying him is not going to make any difference. And besides, you're not supposed to bully people anyway. It's just going to make it worse. You can poke fun at somebody if you want to, but bullying is not going to help out in any sort of case, though. And for that reason alone, that's why I wanted to talk about Zayn Magenta himself, though. Now, I was originally going to say I'm going to probably do a take on, but honestly, this month is pretty heavy for me due to what I said, though, from my pops passing away, though. And I hope to get this video out, though, when it comes to the Trolls whole band together 2001 before October. I really do hope so. And I do hope to manage to take all of these take ons and try to get as much as I can done, though. I mean, sure, it's only September, and honestly, the year is almost over. Jesus Christ, the more I think about it, the more I feel like where did the months go? But it's also pretty clear to me. I'm just trying my best, though. Being an adult's not fun, guys. I made myself sad. But yeah, that's what I think of Zaid overall, though. And if you have any questions or anything like that for me or anything like that, just leave them in the comments. Maybe I'll answer them then. We'll have to see. But until then, Zaid Magenta, please stay gone. Like, no one needs to deal with your shit. No one needs to deal with your attitude problems or whatever you have, though. Just, just let it go. And if you can't let it go, then I don't know what to tell you. With that said, however, thank you all so much for watching. Hopefully, by the next video, it'll come out as soon as it can, but I don't know when because I'm really falling behind with my videos. But yeah, I'll catch you on the flip side. So, until then, thank you all so much. No, and stay flamingo-tastic. See ya.